Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode of Homes That Fit by T-Bluno, where we talk about everything real estate. We talk about real estate trends, we talk about real estate investments, where we make real estate simple through the power of conversation. And like I always say, you'll be involved in the conversation, I'll be involved in the conversation. So today we're going to look at ways people lose money in real estate investment. I've also lost money in real estate investment. And it's so easy to lose money, especially here in Nigeria. And daily people lose money. And people will continue to lose money. But these are some of the ways why people lose money and how people lose money from real estate investment. If you can do this thing, you will learn to minimize your errors, which is why we are bringing this podcast your way, to give you more insight, to give you knowledge, to make you know what it takes to involve yourself in real estate investment. It's very risky and it's very simple. Risky, you can lose money. Simple, when you get it right, is a jolly ride that you enjoy and is an avenue to leave wealth for generations to come. So what are the ways? The first one I want to talk about is lack of due diligence. Don't rush into any investment. Don't rush. Even if they tell you, you need to do this now. If you don't do it, you are not going to maximize your returns. You are not going to. It's better not to maximize returns than losing money. And I've seen people lose money. I have also been a victim. I've lost money from real estate investment. So you need to carry out due diligence. You need to ask the right questions when you want to invest in any property at all. Even when it looks like you know the owner of the property. I'm going to share a personal story. You know, when I got this particular sum of money, I was like, everybody's talking about real estate investment. I really want to invest in real estate. And then somebody brought a property for me to buy. I didn't even carry out my due diligence. I didn't research about the company. I didn't research about the investment, where they have the property. I didn't even go for site visitation. I didn't do anything. All I did was, I have this money, I don't want to spend it. And that was how I committed my money to that particular investment. My story is very pathetic. Do you know that I don't even know the owner of the company? That's the worst part. And I'm not going to mention the name of the company. But the developer is no longer living in Nigeria. And every one of us that invested, our investment has gone down the drain. And I know a lot of people have this particular story about real estate investment. And that's why when you meet some people, they'll tell you, I cannot invest in any property in Nigeria. I've been a victim of fraud. I've been defrauded by investing in properties. And a lot of people have had very bitter experience investing in real estate. So I will really tell you to carry out your due diligence. I know so many people who have been victims. I've also been a victim, like I said. But we still want to hear from you. If you've been a victim or you have a not so palatable real estate story, we would like to hear from you. Just send us a mail on hello@tbluno.com. Let's hear your story, because it could also raise those red flags to, to discourage someone from investing wrongly in real estate. So that's why we want to hear from you. So ensure you carry out your due diligence. Ask the right questions. Go for the site visitation. Know where that property is situated. Don't just put your money. In case you are not in the country, get a trusted person that can give you the right judgment to tell you about the location of the property and, to really assess the value of the property. It's very important so that you don't lose money. A lot of Nigerians don't like to, they just want things easy. Yes, it can be easy. Engage someone to do it. Engage someone to carry out due diligence. Ask questions. Visit the location. I know someone who actually bought a property. He actually wanted to engage in buying and selling, meaning he wanted to buy a rundown property and then sell, renovate it and sell, or probably even rent it out. He took all his life savings and put it into the purchase of this property, and they presented a certificate of occupants to him, thinking that was the right C of O. He bought the property without knowing that it was a forged C of O. And that was how he invested over 40 million naira on that property. Today, he does not have that property and he has lost his money. He became so discouraged and depressed. So that people don't fall victim is important. You carry out your research and you do your due diligence. Another way people lose money in real estate investment is overpaying. You overpay for a property. See, we have real estate valuers. You need to engage them when buying a property. Because you see, and again, you also need to engage, people that are into construction. They can tell you if you are buying this rundown property, because there was someone who actually bought a rundown property and his budget for renovation was about 5 million naira. By the time he was through renovating, in fact, it was better to bring down that building and start fresh construction. So by the time he was through, he had put in so much money and he cannot make profits. In fact, he sold that particular property at a loss. Because by the time the information he got about the building was not what he discovered, was not what he saw when he started building. And I also know of someone who actually bought this piece of land, but she didn't know that what she bought was a major road. As at the time she was buying that piece of land, there was nothing like road there, and then the people who sold it to her, the popular ones we know, the Omoniles, they sold it to her and they convinced her this place is good. She never took the survey of that place. She never went to investigate. She didn't do anything. She paid for that particular property. And then when it was time for the road to be constructed, in fact, the place she bought was the major road. And that was how she lost money in the real estate investment. Of course, such stories are not encouraging. And a lot of people keep falling victim of this every time. One major way people lose money is through market fluctuation. The real estate market in Nigeria is very unpredictable. In fact, the Nigeria economy for now is very unpredictable. Prices of things can suddenly increase. And most of the time, when prices for materials increase, and maybe especially because of the exchange rate, and probably there's a drop in the exchange rate, most of the time prices don't reverse. It's a common thing that we see in Nigeria. So people lose money from market fluctuation. You bought this property as a developer and then you started developing and you are selling it off plan. You have decided to sell at a certain price to complete the construction, and then investors have invested money. And now you have started the construction. Cement, when you were quoting for this particular property, was going for 2,000 naira. And then in a space of 1 month, of which your project is 12 months, and then investors have given you money in full for construction. And then you embark on construction. And then suddenly, the price of cement from 2,000 naira suddenly goes to 8,000 naira. You can't go back to those investors to get money or increase what they have paid for the particular property. Nigerians now, they will never agree with you. They'll tell you I've paid. Go and sort it out, deliver my property. And then that's when you see some developers beginning to, do half-measured work, beginning to cut corners, which I will never recommend. One of the episodes we're going to talk about how to invest in off-plan properties. We will look into that so that you don't lose money, you don't lose your investment. So market fluctuation also make people lose money in real estate investment. One of the other ways people lose money is legal issues. You go and buy a property that is already under dispute and you did not know. Well, if you did your due diligence properly, you will know that that particular property is under dispute. Even though some people don't know, things come up. I know of someone who actually bought a property. She started developing the property. She bought it from the Omoniles, but fortunately for her, she quickly went to obtain the C of O for that property. That's the certificate of occupancy. She went to obtain it, and that was what saved her. The rightful owner of the property, because the place was underdeveloped, and then suddenly the government decided to fix the road along that place. And what she did was, after she bought the property, she started developing it. And then, while developing it, she quickly worked on the certificate of occupancy, meaning that she had that property in her possession for over 3 years before the rightful owner suddenly showed up and said that he wanted to claim his property back. Of course, there were a lot of back and forth, some legal issues and all that. So what the Omoniles did eventually was to reassign him somewhere else, which was, less in value than the one that he actually bought. But because they could not say much, she already had the C of O. Or what if a case of the person who owns the property dies, and then there are legal issues, maybe from the family members, the children, there's this dispute over that property, and one of them gets to sell that property to someone, you are likely going to lose money, because probably you didn't even ask for the letter of administration from the person who sold the property to you. You did not go and investigate, and there are legal issues on that property, and you have already bought it. You are tied up in their legal issues. You are not likely to get your money back. One of the ways that people also lose money in real estate investment is financial crisis. I tell people, when you are going on a payment plan, don't just rush and feel that, okay, the initial deposit for this particular property is not so high, I can afford it. For instance, this property is going for 20 million naira and the initial deposit is just 1 million naira. To go into real estate investment, you must plan carefully. You must plan. So financial crisis is one of the ways people lose money. For instance, you had this plan, you had this structure, like, okay, my salary is 2 million naira every month and the initial deposit is 500,000, and I can pay, and the property is going for 6 million naira. So I can afford to take out 500,000 naira from my salary every month to pay the payment for the property. And then you embark on this journey, and then suddenly something happens. Maybe your company suddenly decides to lay off staff. You don't have these savings that you have kept. You did not plan. Somehow, you are in a financial situation where you cannot complete payment for that property. Most of the contracts signed or written by real estate developers these days, they tell you if you want to get your money back, you are going to forfeit 20%, 30%, 40% of what you paid towards that particular property. So if you are in that financial situation where you can't meet up with completing payment for such a property, that means you will either lose 10%, 20%, 30%, or 40% of what you have paid for that property. You won't get your money back in full. Before you go into any real estate investment, proper planning, sit down, plan, do your due diligence, understand the vision of the company where you are going to be investing, or the people that you are going to be the property you are buying. Go and investigate, ask questions from neighbor, go to the land registry department, carry out your due diligence, engage a lawyer. Hey, these things cannot be overemphasized, so that you don't lose money. Or somebody will invest in a property, for instance, they say invest with as low as 50,000 naira. The property is going for 1 million naira and you invest with 50,000 naira. And then the payment plan is just 12 months. Even if you pay 50,000 naira every month for 12 months, you cannot finish paying for that property. You will likely lose it. That's why you need to plan carefully before you go into real estate investment. For more tips on real estate investment, visit all our social media platforms, T_Bluno on Instagram, on Facebook, our YouTube channel, of course. Subscribe so that you can get more insight, more videos, more updates as soon as we bring them out. And then visit our website, www.tbluno.com. Send us a mail on hello@tbluno.com. Call the number showing on your screen. We want to involve you in this our real estate conversation. Till I come your way again, have a great time.